Hello everyone, welcome to the next installment of Am I the Asshole? If you like hearing Reddit stories, it would really support the channel if you could like or subscribe. So without further ado, let's dive into our first story. Am I the asshole for getting fully naked in a public changing room? I'm a college student who recently took up track as a hobby. I was on the swim team all throughout high school, but aside from that, haven't done any organized sports before. After practice, most of the guys take a shower before heading to classes. I was having a chat with a couple of the other guys on the team and getting changed at the same time. When I pulled down my pants, one of the guys just said, "What the fuck, dude?" in a really shocked tone. I asked what the matter was. He said to go find a stall if I wanted to do that, or don't bother changing underwear. Now, I sweat like crazy, so obviously wanted to change underwear, but the stalls were being occupied, and I didn't think it was expected to wait. It's a changing room. In my experience, people change. It's not that big of a deal. We all shower after swim practice, and nobody cares in the slightest. I'm comfortable in my own body and didn't think it was a big deal, but obviously don't want to make others uncomfortable either. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. It's normal to change clothes fully in a changing room. I believe this awkwardness around nudity is something that we learn by culturally associating nudity with sex, almost exclusively. In many countries, nudity is associated with times when it's necessary or appropriate to be nude. Locker rooms are one instance: saunas, massages, surgeries, and sex. We shouldn't assume nudity is only useful or appropriate for sex. We should expand our worldview to accepting it whenever it's most useful and efficient, such as locker rooms where changing clothes is the whole point. Nakedness is often seen, but never noticed is the proper attitude. Guessing American? We're so weird about nudity. Not the asshole. It's one thing if you're airing your junk out for an extended time, like the jokes about the old guys at the gym, but getting changed is what you're supposed to do in a locker room. I was in the boys' room at school once, standing at the urinal peeing. There was another kid, 1 or 2 urinals over. As we were minding our own business peeing, I farted. Nothing fantastic, just a normal fart. The kid screwed up his face and said, "Ew, gross." I looked at him and I was like, "What?" He thought about it for half a second and said, "Yeah, I guess we're in the toilet. That's exactly the place to fart." Point being, his initial reaction was just an automatic, unthinking response. Once he gave it even the slightest amount of thought, he realized that, yeah, this is the place for it. I'll bet your guy was the same. Changing in a changing room. You should be ashamed, Ope. You seem like the type of person to live in a living room or dine in a dining room. Learn to read the room. Am I the asshole for yelling at my friend when she took her nosy-ness regarding my girlfriend's personal business too far? I'm pissed over this, so please tell me if this makes no sense. I, 22 female, have been with my incredible girlfriend, Lane, 22 female, for just over a year now. I introduced her to all my friends about 4 months in, and since then she's been hanging out with us, 7, including me, regularly. So I have a friend, Freya, 23 female, who is kind of nosy. For a couple weeks, Lane has been out of town. Before anyone asks, she didn't want me to come. I offered, but she said she just needed to do this alone. For family issues, I won't spill here, and Freya has been nagging me like crazy about it. Me and my friends all go to the same university, and we hang out pretty much every day, so I can't avoid her. First, I thought it started with honest concern. I told her what I said before, that she's out of town for some family stuff. Plain and simple. Subtly trying to get the idea across that it's none of her effing business. She accepted that for all of one day. She then amped it up to pressing about exactly what the family thing is. I just kept shutting her down, calmly asking her to drop it, saying that Lane doesn't want her stuff being aired out like that, which she had explicitly told me. But she just wouldn't take no for an answer. Just kept insisting that it was fine if she knew, and I would just ignore her. Last night was my last straw. We were hanging out at a local bar when Lane called me. I told my friends I'd be back in a bit and went outside to take it. Lane was pretty upset, so I told her I'd get a cab and go home so I could fully focus on her. I quickly went back into the bar to tell my friends I had to go. Mind you, I still had Lane on the line, because I was only anticipating for it to take a minute. I just said something like, "Hey guys, but I gotta go. See you later," and pointed at the ongoing call. Freya, who was dead sober, decided it was a great idea to try to grab my phone from my hand, yelling questions at Lane. I backed up and held the phone to my chest, completely surprised, because seriously, what the F? I yelled at her to back off and told her my girlfriend's personal stuff was none of her business. She spluttered for a second, everyone else just staring at us, bewildered, before I just left. I talked to Lane on the way home and told her what happened, but said it was no big deal, Arn, and refocused the conversation on what she needed to talk about. By the time I got home, I had turned my phone on Do Not Disturb and was FaceTiming Lane, so I didn't see the messages from my friends until today. Freya was pissed that I yelled at her, and two of our other friends, Toby, 23 male, and Clay, 22 male, shared the same sentiment of me embarrassing Freya by getting so angry at her when she was just worried about Lane. The rest of my friends were asking me if I was okay and siding with me. I just want to know, despite my friends and Lane telling me Freya was totally weird for it, did I overreact? I'm starting to feel a bit guilty. I never ever yell like that. Not the asshole. Freya tried to take your phone to ask invasive questions about something that has nothing to do with her. I would definitely keep my distance. You know the truth, Freya wasn't just worried about Lane. She is a nosy busybody who inserts herself into situations she shouldn't. I hope your girlfriend's family issues work out in the best possible way. Good luck to you and Lane. Agree with this and not the asshole. Freya sounds like the type who's not only nosy, but perhaps the type that likes to be self-important and performative about the hardships of others. If she was genuinely concerned for Lane, she could have quietly told you, the first time you tried to show the privacy boundary to her, "Please tell Lane I hope she's okay," and then shut up about it. Not the asshole. Sounds like you gave Freya plenty of gentle warnings that the topic was private and off limits, and she ignored them. Some people respond well to small suggestions, some people don't until you whack them over the head with a 2x4. You might want to take the opportunity to privately speak with Toby and Clay. Just tell them your version of events, without lashing out at Freya. If they're reasonable, they'll see the logic. Undoubtedly, she's filling their heads with exaggerations and half-truths, so you'll need to set the record straight with them. Not the asshole. Freya was way over the line. Toby and Clay probably don't have the whole picture. Not the asshole. An old, tired, queer Redditer here. There will be friends in your life who are okay with you being gay, so long as they don't have to think about you being gay. They will never treat your relationships in the same way as they treat cis-het relationships. This is what Freya is doing. She deserves to know, because Lane doesn't get treated as your partner because that would mean dealing with her own internalized beasts. Not respecting boundaries and not treating your bond as different to friendship are classic examples of this. She won't admit to seeing you and Lane as any different, but I guarantee she wouldn't have grabbed the phone and started quizzing Lane if it had been a straight friend talking to her boyfriend. Well, that's another episode of Am I the Asshole in the books. I really appreciate all of you who made it this far into the video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would really help the channel out a lot if you gave the video a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.